is currently out on bail. Namuan responded to comparisons to Nana Grada, who was recently incarcerated for defrauding some individuals.
Let's not give credit to that. Let's not give credit to that.
Okay.
We have a case to defend.
Yeah.
And we are doing absolutely just that. The beauty of constitutionalism, the very law that brings me here, compels me to come here each and every time that I'm about to. It's the same law that gives me the right to appeal, as and when, I have to. So basically, that is it.
Okay.
So let's not give no credence to this.
Lodi Rasai, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's do politics now. The New Patriotic Party NPP says its Ablekuma North parliamentary candidate won the 2024 elections and will not participate in the partial rerun set for July 11, 2025 in 19 polling stations. The NPP insists that their candidate, Nana Akua-Afie, won with a margin of 414 votes and that the EC's decision to rerun the election is unjust and lacks proper legal grounding.
Police is supposed to provide security. The court never said go and do a rerun. And it's not there to go back to the court. Because what the Electoral Commission is doing is contempt of court.
The New Patriotic Party NPP cites a High Court ruling that only instructed the EC to complete collation and declare the winner, not to conduct a rerun. The NPP believes the EC does not have the authority to unilaterally decide on a rerun without a court order. The party argues that only 3 polling stations were outstanding and not 19, adding the EC's decision to expand the rerun is inconsistent and disrespectful to the court's directive. Addressing the media in a press conference addressed by the party General Secretary, Justin Kodia, he said they will not participate in the election rerun.
We're able to collate almost all the polling station results in Ablekuma North, leaving only 3. And therefore, even with respect to a letter that I wrote to the Electoral Commission on the 3rd of June, asking about the update of Ablekuma North, whereby the Electoral Commission confirmed to the New Patriotic Party that indeed it is left with only 3 polling stations. Again, the Electoral Commission, led by Deputy Commissioner Dr. Bosman, under oath, went to Parliament and also confirmed same that so far as they are aware and so far as they know, it is only left with 3 polling stations at Ablekuma North. And therefore, it comes as very shocking that the Electoral Commission, the inconsistency from the Electoral Commission is a shame. But for us in the New Patriotic Party, we remain resolute. And we know that our candidate, Nana Akua-Afie, won the elections with a margin of 414 votes.
We talk illegal mining now. President John Dramani Mahama has declared that all the members of the newly inaugurated Gold Board Task Force will operate under strict oversight, including the mandatory use of body cameras during every operation. As part of sweeping accountability measures in Ghana's crackdown, the president is promising a whistleblower reward scheme as part of a broader crackdown on illegal mining.
President John Mahama officially on Tuesday launched the Gold Board Task Force, declaring that it is time for Ghanaians to take full ownership and control of the gold mining sector. The task force, according to government, is aimed at safeguarding the country's mineral wealth. At a ceremony held at the National Security Secretariat, President Mahama stated that Ghanaians should not only work in the mining industry but also own gold mines and lead gold production for export.
We believe that Ghanaians must be the first beneficiaries of the natural resource blessing that God has given us. So gold is just one example. We're going to make sure that in other minerals, Ghanaians play a leading role in terms of our mineral exploitation. And the time has come for Ghanaians to also own gold mines and produce gold for export.
He revealed that since January, Ghana has earned approximately $5 billion from the export of 51.5 tons of gold, a significant inflow that has helped stabilize the Ghanaian cedi.
Cumulatively from January, exports from the small-scale sector reached 51.5 tons, which is valued at approximately $5 billion.
He also introduced a whistleblower incentive scheme under which informants will receive 10% of the seized gold or its cash equivalent.
If you blow the whistle on anybody and gold is retrieved or cash is retrieved, you get 10% of the value of both the gold and the cash. Every member of the task force will operate under strict oversight. All officers will wear body cameras in every operation they undertake. Vehicles used by the task force will be GPS tracked and monitored in real time during operations. A written warrant from the CEO is required before any field operation is undertaken.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of Gold Board, Sammy Gyamfi, has assured the public that the task force has been fully trained and equipped to carry out its mandate. He added that more than 300 licenses have already been issued to qualified applicants.
We've provided the necessary orientation, the training, logistics, and resources for the task force you see here to be able to do their work effectively and fearlessly.
The Finance Minister, Dr. Kasela Tuforson, revealed the loss the country incurred in the period of the economic crisis through smuggling of gold.
At the peak of our economic crisis in the year 2022, 60 tons of gold worth approximately $1.2 billion at the time left Ghana through illegal channels. This came at a time that Ghana's reserve position was less than $300 million.
Away from illegal mining, unauthorized building projects continue to pose a serious challenge to city authorities in Accra, with developers flouting planning regulations and ignoring repeated warnings. The Yawaso West Municipal Assembly, in collaboration with the AMA and the police on Tuesday, moved in to stop one of such projects. My colleague Deborah Abba-Mensah has more.
In Accra's fast-expanding urban zones, city authorities are battling a growing problem: illegal construction. Developers are building without permits, forging documents and ignoring zoning laws, putting pressure on infrastructure and threatening public safety. The Yawaso West Assembly, with support from the AMA and police, conducted a crackdown. The building in question is located dangerously close to a major road, raising red flags about space for parking, congestion, and the general impact on nearby residents. Officials say despite several warnings, the developers refuse to stop the work.
Yawaso West Municipal Assembly came into existence in 2018, but then they have a permit that was issued in 2020 by AMA. So clearly it tells you that they don't have a permit. Now they are building very close to the road, as you can see, very close to the road. And this is a huge structure. We have asked them to stop work several times, but they've refused. We came to write on the walls, they have refused. They turn our people away. Last week we were here. They are very adamant. So we are here to stop them.
Several workers were arrested at the site. While the exact number has not been confirmed, the Assembly says those involved will be processed for court. Authorities have also given a 2-month window for anyone with fake or outdated permits to come forward and regularize their documents or face similar consequences.
We are sounding a word of caution to everybody within the municipality that if you have such fraudulent permits, come to the Municipal Assembly and then regularize your permits. We have several of those permits within the Municipal Assembly that were issued by AMA. Some were fraudulent. There are several buildings without permits, and we are asking them that they should come within 2 months to regularize their permits so that together we can work together and ensure that the right things are done.
The Ayawaso West Assembly says this is just the beginning. Developers working without proper permits are being urged to report voluntarily before the next phase of enforcement begins. With several illegal structures already identified across the municipality, today's operation is part of a broader push to restore order and enforce the law, one construction site at a time.
You're still watching the morning news here on TV3 with me, Godwin Asideba. We do more stories. Commercial activities along the Eastern Corridor Road in the Oti region and Kwehu Afram Plains in the Eastern region are steadily declining following the constant deterioration of the road's infrastructure there. My colleague Stanley Nibleo has been looking into the situation.
The Eastern Corridor Road was earmarked for construction during the previous NDC regime to enhance transportation and connectivity in the eastern part of the country, while facilitating trade, economic development, and regional integration. The road is a critical trade artery linking southern coastal ports to the northern regions and neighboring landlocked countries. Despite some visibly commendable work done on part of the corridor, vast stretches remain untarred and in a deplorable state. Continuous rainfall has worsened the situation, eroding the road surface and creating deep gullies, especially along the Nkwantak-Pasa Damanko section. Further beyond Hohoi in the Volta region, the condition is equally dire, making driving on the stretch a risky and frustrating experience for motorists. The Eastern Corridor is all vital for transporting agricultural produce from farm gates to markets across the country, especially in Accra and Kumasi. Its poor state poses a significant threat to food supply chains and livelihoods. The Minister for Roads and Highways, Gavin Kwame Agboja, acknowledged the concerns.
If you were to consume yam today in Accra, that yam probably came from Yendi in part of the northern region. I wish you know how the trucker who brought the yam to Tema managed to bring the yam here, especially if the person used the Eastern Corridor using Pasa section in the rainy season. You will weep for that driver. But they manage these things. And I'm saying that it is not acceptable in Pasa, it's not acceptable at Pokwase. So we need to work as a people to be able to address all these problems.
He said the government has included the road's completion in its big push infrastructure agenda.
We had discussions with the contractor. In fact, it's one of those projects the president directed that should be captured, taken on board as a big push so that we can prioritize and complete them on schedule. So the contractors are all mobilizing to restart those projects. So it will be completed now under the big push.
The Eastern Corridor is not the only road demanding urgent attention. The Echi Amman from Donkokrom Road in Afram Plains in the eastern region, long neglected, has become a haven for armed robbery. Criminals are taking advantage of the deteriorated road conditions to ambush vehicles, leading to growing insecurity. As a result, commercial activities have waned drastically. Essential services like education are under threat, with teachers among those recently attacked.
This mark is as a result of armed robbery attack. I was traveling on the road and then I was attacked by armed robbers. And in the course of the attack, I had this injury, which I was hospitalized for almost a week because the brutality and then the torture was too much. We therefore call on the government and all stakeholders to beef up security on our roads.
Residents are concerned.
A significant portion of farm produce comes from our farm plains, but due to the rising cases of robbery, many traders have stopped patronizing the community. Our roads are in deplorable condition. Commuters who embark on early morning trips from Donkokrom are often attacked by robbers, and this is gradually crippling the local transport industry.
For road users, each passing day brings higher cost, lost income, and growing fear. While promises under the big push agenda bring some hope, residents say they cannot wait any longer. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Basa, Oti Region.
Join me to Parliament now, where drama unfolded in Parliament on Tuesday when the majority leader sought to block the minority leader from asking a question using the dispatch box. An arranged minority caucus litigated the issue, forcing the Speaker to suspend sitting to engage leaders on both sides in conclave. After emotional exchanges, the Speaker gave a ruling that barred members of Parliament from using the dispatch box and ask questions in their representative capacity.
And how the ministry intends to ensure that this policy translates into value addition.
Honourable Minority Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Hold it. Let's hear the Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, you are setting a precedent.
Once he's insisting.
Speaker, you should show me the basis for he always wanting to go and ask his questions from there, when every other member, including myself, I stand here to ask questions. If he should go to the dispatch box to ask a question, if I have follow-up questions, will I also go to the dispatch box to ask a follow-up questions? This is the first time I see a minority leader wanting to ask questions from the dispatch box.
I humbly want to find out from the leader. He should tell me which order that allows him to make statements on the dispatch box. And where there are statements made, closing statement, when minority leader speaks, majority leader speaks, the minority leader speaks on the dispatch box. He should tell us the order in this book that tells us. No, he addresses it.
Can you give me the date that I delivered that ruling? If you are unable to do so, be in the House of Record. Withdraw the statement that I have delivered, ruling that the minority can use the dispatch box.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, I am, for the fact that I cannot give you the exact date, does not mean I should withdraw my statement. And I'm not going to withdraw my statement.
I will suspend sitting for 5 minutes and have a meeting with the leadership of the House. Sitting is accordingly suspended.
After sitting was suspended for almost an hour, leaders resumed proceedings where the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Bernard Ahiafo, ruled on the matter that MPs in their capacity as representatives cannot use the dispatch box to ask questions.
Mr. Speaker, I would want you to decline this invitation. However, if you want to make a ruling to, as it were, honor the majority leader, so be it.
Any member who is acting in his representative capacity, but not in a capacity of the caucus, would have to rise at the member's place. If it is question, you ask the question. I rule that minority leader would have to rise at his place and ask the question.
The Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry turned up to answer urgent questions as well as some oral questions from the sector, where she spoke largely about the national agro-industry policy, spoke about a number of factories that are defunct as of now, and Ghana's plans going forward to support industry with AGOA expected to be truncated somewhere in September this year. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Parliament. A report there by my colleague Christian Yali, and that's how we bring the bulletin to an end this morning. My name is Godwin Asideba. For more news updates, kindly log on to www.3news.com. See you soon.